Frontier by Maggot Moshpit, Chapter 19.
Absolutely not.
Leph pulled himself into a chair and rubbed his temples.
Sue, you don't understand what might happen. I was shown what will happen if I don't destroy this artifact, and it isn't pretty.
Sue looked around, as if the others might offer an explanation.
What the hell are you talking about? You're making it seem like you had some vision quest from the gods.
I suppose I should explain it to you. For a while now, I've been hallucinating, I guess. It's always something bad, and it always comes true without exception. Most of the time, I have enough time to stop whatever it is. In fact, when Bowman attacked our ship, I had one of these hallucinations. It was too late to do anything, though.
Sue stood there silently, then sat down. He looked around again.
Is this true?
Celia nodded.
Yep. Every time.
Sue shook his head.
I'm sorry, this is still kind of hard to swallow. You're saying you're psychic?
Leph shrugged.
I don't know, maybe. But what I do know is that I can say with 100% accuracy that our universe will be destroyed if we don't get rid of this artifact.
The entire universe?
Yes, I don't know why or how, but it will happen. Sue, you have to trust me on this one. Help me do this, or at least don't get in the way.
Sue sat for a long time, weighing the options. Eventually, he slammed his paw on the table and turned to Leph.
Fine, but you owe me one weird alien artifact.
Leph jumped up and ran for the door.
Great, now let's go.
Feldo ran after him.
We don't have the coordinates yet.
Leph stopped.
I know the coordinates. Don't ask me how. The thing didn't tell me directly.
Once in the cockpit, Leph jumped in the pilot's seat himself and locked in the coordinates, flicking on the intercom.
Get ready for a hyperspace jump, people.
The Frontier was already on its way by the time the rest of the crew arrived. Leph was looking intently at the ship's course, calculating how long it would take them to get there. The crew took their stations apprehensively, glancing at Leph from time to time, as though he might just drop dead from another heart attack. Lena stood awkwardly next to her chair, which was currently occupied by Leph. She tapped his shoulder.
Leph? Can I talk to you outside?
He looked up at her distractedly.
Huh? Oh, yeah, just give me a minute.
He punched a few numbers into a calculator.
We'll be there in a couple hours. Sit tight, guys.
He stood and looked at Lena.
Okay.
She let him out the door and closed it behind her.
Leph? You died back there.
Nah, I wasn't dead. It was like my consciousness was just moved somewhere else temporarily.
She stood stiffly, staring at Leph's chest.
But your heart stopped. I thought...
Her voice caught in her throat, and her ears pressed against her head. Leph realized what she just went through, and almost smacked himself. How could he be so single-minded? He stepped forward and embraced her gently.
I'm sorry you had to go through that, Peach. I'm all right now, so don't you cry.
She sniffed and looked up at him.
But what about next time? You might have another vision and not come back.
He ruffled her head fur.
I can't control them, so there's no sense worrying.
She looked down again.
Yeah.
Leph broke the hug, patted Lena on the shoulder, and went back into the cockpit. He walked over to Celia, his ribs still aching from when she performed chest compressions on him. She stood and punched his arm before he could apologize.
Ow! What was that for?
Don't ever make me do mouth-to-mouth on you again.
Leph thought of about 100 different jokes he could have made, but with his mate standing right there, he chose the most benign.
I'm glad I'm okay, too.
She crossed her arms and sat down again.
Whatever.
He took his seat in the captain's chair and folded his paws in front of his muzzle.
I hope we get there in time for any of it to matter.
Sue sat in the converted cargo bay with Taliko and Yar, sipping drinks. Taliko wasn't particularly interested in her drink, and kept moving it left and right on the table, gazing into it as though it held the secrets of the universe. Sue sensed something was wrong, and he glanced at Yar, giving him a look. Yar shrugged and made the I don't understand gesture. Sue rolled his eyes and set his glass down.
Taliko, is something the matter?
She kept looking into her glass.
I don't know. It's Leph. He snapped at me before. He had a heart attack, like seconds before.
Yar finally took the hint and placed a comforting paw on Taliko's shoulder.
He probably wasn't himself, you know, 'cause he was having a heart attack.
She shook her head.
No, he's changed. I can't put my claw on it, but he's different.
You're right. Something's off about him, and I'm not just talking about being psychic. It's like...
Sue thought long and hard, but Yar finished his sentence.
Like there's something else in there with him.
Yes.
Taliko downed her drink in one go.
I don't know, but I'm shook up, and I need some cuddles. Yar?
She stood and dragged him off. Sue chuckled and sipped his drink.
See you later.
Leph was about to nod off. He had been sitting in the cockpit doing nothing for the past hour when the ship dropped out of hyperspace. He grunted and looked around.
We can't be there yet, can we?
Cirlia checked her instruments.
No, we're still 40 minutes away. Wait, look at this.
Leph went over and scanned Cirlia's screen.
What? Someone sent the emergency deactivation codes to the drive computer. I don't even have those.
Cirlia's console beeped, and so did Lena's.
Leph, there's a ship approaching. It isn't hailing, but it has weapons charged.
Leph jumped back to his own console and tried to gain access to the computer.
Everything's locked out. I can't do anything. Damn it! Zach, try and override everything and switch it to the night computer from engineering.
Zack nodded and dashed out the door.
Feldo, weapons.
Feldo jiggled the joystick around, but nothing happened.
The weapons are gone, too. This guy's good.
It's not a guy.
Leph looked over his shoulder. Sue was standing in the doorway, guns in paw.
She's after the scroll, and I don't intend to give it to her. It's worth a small fortune itself.
I'm guessing you have a plan.
He grinned.
That's my job. I'm the brains, and Colonel is the brawn. Leph, I need your piloting skills.
What for?
Sue stepped out the door and beckoned.
I'll explain on the way to my ship.
They walked quickly towards the airlock.
Glixnarkanog will try to get in through the airlock and probably blast my ship to bits in the process. She's very clever and never does something like this unless she knows she can.
Who is she, anyway?
Sue clenched his fist.
My arch nemesis. She's taken half the treasure I go after just to spite me. All because I said she was a dude.
Leph couldn't help but laugh.
Their race does seem to take extreme offense to that, don't they?
That's beside the point. If we can hold her off long enough to get control of the computer back, we'll be able to disable her ship.
No offense, Sue, but I don't think your ship is in any shape to do any holding off right now.
That's where you and the Colonel come in.
Sue piloted his ship towards Gliknarkanog's, slowly, under ion power. He powered his light pulse cannons and hailed her.
Glixnarkanog, you don't know what you're getting into. There are 60 tough farmers on that ship, and they're all armed and bloodthirsty.
Her blue, long-nosed face appeared on screen. She babbled something in her language, and the computer translated.
Sue, you think I don't know that? My ship isn't as shitty as yours, you know. My sensors actually work.
He gritted his teeth.
You won't get close enough to be beaten to death. I'll stop you first!
Glixnarkanog laughed, but it sounded more like a drowning cat.
Big talk for a kitten in a cardboard box. You going to sneak by me or something?
Sue caught the line, confident he had baited her enough. He reversed thrust and settled directly in front of the airlock, maneuvering around one of the Frontier's cargo ellipses. Glixnarkanog grinned in her cockpit. She had studied up on the specs of the H model, limited armaments, and an easily acquired emergency shutdown code. These codes were used by the police to shut down ships on the run, but after a privacy leak that was traced back to the use of these codes, the Atrian government removed them from all active ships. Glixnarkanog knew the Frontier wouldn't have been treated the same, as it was practically a derelict. No one would spend time upgrading it. She powered her forward cannons and prepared to fire at Sue. She chuckled when his pulse blasts took her shielding down to 99%, and hailed him again.
Surrender. Then maybe I won't break what's left of your...
Her ship shook violently, and she almost banged her head on the wheel. Her shields were down to 70%. She pulled up and accelerated quickly, scanning the area. 2 shuttles were waiting for her, hiding behind the ellipses and opening fire with plasma weapons. Where did they come from? They looked like fighter pods from an Atrian carrier ship, but they were painted like escape pods, complete with warning lights. Her Her ship couldn't hope to outmaneuver them, and those plasma blasts would tear her ship apart in short order. She cursed and powered up the drive. Someone did spend time upgrading that ship, she thought to herself. Someone good. Sue watched with satisfaction as Glixnarkenog jumped away. He hailed Leph, who was in one of the shuttles.
Good work, buddy. She didn't expect that. By the way, where did you get those?
Leph started the redocking sequence as he responded.
They came with the ship, and I just thought they were escape pods. I guess the previous owner got them. Just one of these is more combat ready than the Frontier.
Well, I'm glad someone spent money on them.
Meet me back in the cockpit when you finish docking,
Leph said, then cut the transmission. Sue walked into the cockpit with a smile on his face. He had finally gotten the better of Glixnarkenog and made her run away with her tail between her legs. Except she didn't have a tail.
All right, Lena, continue on our previous course,
Leph said. Lena shook her head.
Zach still hasn't restarted.
Lena stopped mid-sentence due to the fact that the computer switched over to night mode, invalidating what she was about to say.
Never mind. I'll set the autopilot.
Leph hit the intercom.
Good work, Zach. Now see what you can do for getting the normal computer up and running. I don't like the reduced functionality of the night computer.
The ship jumped to hyperspace as the autopilot took over. The night computer was for when there was nobody in the cockpit, and the route was not expected to have any problems. It had little control over the ship, and only went from point A to point B without any pathfinding. It wasn't long until Zach arrived back from the engine room.
Okay, Leph, you can try it now. All I had to do was reboot the entire computer system.
Leph tried it, and the computer came back online without any emergency restrictions.
Nice one, Zach. Good work.
Zach nodded and went back to his station, wondering if Feldo could have done it faster. Half an hour later, the ship dropped out of hyperspace and signaled their arrival at the coordinates. Leph stood, feeling nervous for some reason he couldn't pin down.
Cirlia, where are we?
A star system with 30 planets? Wow, that's a lot. The exact coordinates point to the 29th planet from the sun, on a spot on the northern continent. There are also 2 comets flying through the solar system.
Leph opened his mouth to order them to the 29th planet when Sue cut in.
Wait, Leph. Glixnarkenog is probably waiting for us to make a move somewhere and then follow us.
Leph looked at him skeptically.
Where would she hide? Our sensors would pick her up anywhere in the system. The comets!
Sue snapped his finger.
Yep, she's probably using the comet's trail to confuse our sensors.
Then, what do we do?
Lena turned around in her seat and cut Sue off before he could start explaining.
We used the comet too!
What she said.
Glixnarkenog sat in her cockpit, fuming. She wouldn't be caught off guard again, not by Sue and his pea-brained companion. The comet continually cascaded frozen rocks and water around her ship, making it so she could see out of the tail, but anyone outside would mistake her for a large chunk of rock. She watched as the Frontier flew near the second comet, which wasn't too far off the first, and matched its speed. This maneuver was not missed by Glixnarkenog, and she grinned to herself.
Trying to outsmart me, eh, Sue? Not this time.
She thought to herself as she watched the Frontier break off and head for the 29th planet. She watched as they entered orbit and waited, presumably for her to follow. But instead she turned her attention to the comet, and more importantly the ship that was now flying towards the 8th planet. She followed it with a fool's grin on her face. Leph chuckled to himself as he watched Glixnarkenog take the bait.
We can wait another few minutes, then we'll take the shuttles down. What's the atmosphere like?
Cirlia checked the scans as they came in.
Oxygen, nitrogen. It's a bit thin. Don't overdo it.
Leph pulled her up by the shoulders.
What are you talking about? You're coming with us.
Cirlia groaned.
Ugh, come on, Leph. I don't want to go cave diving for some dusty artifact.
I need you down there. You're the best shot here.
Expecting trouble?
Leph turned for the door.
I don't know what to expect. Lena, you stay here with Feldo and hold down the fort. If Glixnarkenog figures out it's a ruse, don't let her land. Call her a guy if you have to.
Lena saluted, and Feldo nodded.
All right, let's go. Cirlia, Zach, Sue.
Leph was about to put on his best badass stride down the corridor, when right outside the door was Rackham, blocking the way.
Leph, we need to have a little chat.
Some other time.
Rackham picked up Leph effortlessly and carried him down to the cargo bay, Leph shouting back.
Wait for me at the pods!
Rackham put Leph down inside an empty cargo bay.
Leph, how many times are we gonna have this talk? I was just listening to Toliko, and she tells me there's a bloodthirsty blue out there ready to jump us. Now look here.
Leph grabbed both of Rackham's shoulders and looked him directly in the eye, his voice taking on a serious tone.
Rackham, look into my eyes when I tell you this, and know I have the utmost confidence in what I'm saying. The universe is in danger. The 60 lives on this ship doesn't compare to the amount that will die if I don't do this.
Rackham stared long and hard at Leph, and a moment of clarity passed between them. He knew the stakes were high.
Get going.
Leph left without another word. Rackham sat in the cargo bay, a strange feeling passing over him. He thought he saw something in Leph's eye, but he couldn't put his claw on it. Leph wrestled with the pod's controls as he made a shaky descent.
Damn, this turbulence is really something. I thought you said the atmosphere was thin.
Celia clutched her stomach tightly.
I guess the wind speed is just really high.
Leph felt them get buffeted to the right, and he was forced to roll violently.
Oof! Celia, you alright back there?
Celia just nodded and swallowed. Leph was able to make the landing on a suspiciously flat surface, rain beating down. He hailed the other shuttle.
Hey guys, you getting down okay?
Yeah, we'll land in a minute.
Celia opened the hatch and stepped out into the rain. The sky was a bright, oppressive red, the rain coming down in torrents, flattening Celia's fur to her body. She ran for a nearby outcropping of rock and took cover. Leph dashed after her, and both waited as the second shuttle made its landing. Leph shook himself of rain.
It's weird that it's so bright out in the middle of a storm, and that the rain itself is so warm. It's kinda nice, actually.
Celia shook rain from her ears.
Ugh, I'll be glad to kiss this godforsaken planet goodbye. I hate rain.
Sue and Zack ran from the other shuttle, ducking into the small cave. Zack ruffled his short hair.
Nice planet. It's like having a shower all the time.
Sue shook himself vigorously.
I hate water! God, why did I agree to this?
Leph turned around and inspected the wall.
Well, this isn't an entrance or anything. I doubt they kept it on the surface. It must be underground somewhere. Zack, let's go find it.
Celia and Sue watched as Leph and Zack searched the area, hoping they wouldn't have to run through too much rain to get there. Zack reached the other side of the flat rock and peered down the other side. He took a step back.
Whoa! That is one steep drop. Leph, be careful. We're on a spire of some sort.
Sue rolled his eyes.
Rain and heights? Fuck me.
Leph looked behind a large boulder and called back.
Hey, there's a flight of stairs here.
Zack ran over.
Let's go down. Guys, come on.
They disappeared behind the boulder. Celia looked at Sue.
I can carry you if you don't want to go yourself.
Sue stepped out into the rain and walked briskly to the boulder.
Hell no. Come on, or do I have to carry you?
They walked as fast as they could down the stairs. Leph and Zack waited at the bottom, the light from the sky lighting the small chamber. The stairs ended in a grate that drained the water from the rain. Leph ran his paw along the wall, feeling the runes etched into its surface.
I wonder what these mean.
In the center of the room was a pedestal, and atop the pedestal was a strange shape, slightly round, but looking as if someone had smashed it in with a baseball bat.
That must be it.
Leph approached it slowly, as if it might make him have another heart attack. When the pedestal creaked and began to shiver, he almost did. Zack jumped the hardest.
Jesus, it's moving. Stand back.
The pedestal began to unfold, revealing it wasn't a pedestal at all, but a vaguely humanoid shape folded into a rectangular prism. It creaked and groaned as it stood on its spindly legs, balancing awkwardly as it took a step forward, its head clearly too heavy for its body. Leph held out his arms disarmingly.
Hey there, robot friend.
Celia swatted the gun out of Sue's paw before he could raise it. The robot tilted its head as if it were looking at each of them in turn. A strange voice emanated from it.
You have come.
Leph looked behind him, then back at the robot.
Yeah, I think. You, don't mind if we destroy you, right?
I am powerless to stop you.
The robot stood stock still, awaiting its demise. Its head, if it could be called that, did very much resemble the thing on the paper, if a bit more tame. Leph reached for the gun Sue was reluctantly offering him, but stopped and turned around.
Hey, who are you?
I am a vessel, as you are.
Leph frowned. This thing knew something.
A vessel? For what? What are you talking about?
Tell your master they will never escape.
What?
Leph didn't have time to ask any further questions, as a black tendril snaked from the thing's head, and it began to lurch towards them, spindly arms outstretched.
Whoa! Sue, blast that thing now!
Sue shot the robot's head with deadly accuracy. It exploded, not with fire, but with something much more destructive. Black, inky darkness burst from it, flopping on the ground like a wet rag. All four jumped back as it snaked towards them. Sue shot at it, but the pulses simply got absorbed by the dark energy.
What the hell is that?
Leph shouted as he backed away from the dark monster. Celia grabbed the gun from Sue's paws and shot at the ceiling, causing rocks to fall on the thing. It seemed to have an effect, squishing the organism, causing it to scream in what Leph could only assume to be pain. They watched as two long tendrils shot out and hit the wall with devastating force. They were almost knocked to the ground as the entire spire began to shake. Zack grabbed a hold of the closest thing, Celia.
I think we need to get out of here. We did our part.
I agree!
Celia shouted over the sound of the ceiling crumbling and crushing the thing even further. Leph was about to run for the stairs when something on the wall caught his eye. Sue and Zack were already up the stairs and running to the pod when Celia glanced back down the stairs. Leph was standing, pressed against the wall, while chunks of rock fell around him.
Leph, what the hell are you doing?
Celia ran back, dodged a falling rock, and tugged on Leph's arm.
Leph, this is no time to joke around!
She looked at what he was looking at, and she froze too. On the wall was a perfectly accurate etching of Leph's face. Under it was a message written in unknown runes. Leph stared at it, unblinking.
Celia, all the answers are here. I know it.
The spire shook once more, and this time it felt as though it could fall at any moment.
Leph, we don't have time to ponder this one. We have to go now!
Leph ran his paw over the runes over and over, as if it might make him able to read them. Celia put him in a headlock and dragged him away from the wall. He thrashed violently.
No! It's all there! On that wall! Please!
The section of the wall and the floor under it suddenly collapsed and fell into the void. Leph gasped in anguish, then went limp as Celia pulled him up the stairs and into the shuttle. She shut the hatch and took off, the spire crashing and crumbling to dust under them. Leph pawed at the window pathetically.
It was all there.
How do you know? It could have been a laundry list.
My face was on the wall! My face!
Celia focused on flying, but she could hear the distress in Leph's voice.
You're right. That was pretty freaky. Too late to do anything about it now, though.
Leph took one more forlorn look at the rubble of the huge spire, then turned back to take the wheel from Celia.
Yeah, you're right.
Glicksnarkanog climbed out of her ship and stepped onto the planet. She brandished a large rifle as she approached Sue's ship, which landed a few minutes ago. She crouched behind a rock as the hatch opened, and Conrev stepped out in his own environment suit. Glicksnarkanog fired a warning shot that hit the ground next to Conrev's foot.
Freeze! I have you now.
Conrev smiled at her, her voice carried to his suit through an automatic radio.
Glicksnarkanog, it's you that I have.
What are you talking about? I saw through your ruse, and I caught you. Now go back in there and fly away. The treasure is mine.
Conrev shrugged, stepped back inside the ship, and powered up the engine. He sent one last message to Glicksnarkanog.
All right, the treasure is yours. Have fun.
Glicksnarkanog began looking around the area for something that would indicate where the treasure was.
Oh, I will.
Once Conrev docked back with the Frontier, he joined the rest of the crew in the cockpit. Sue was talking to Leph.
Look, in the condition we're in, we won't make it to the next station for another century in our own ship. There's a repair station nearby, only a couple days.
Leph looked at the map on his screen.
You mean NSP station?
Yeah, that place.
Leph shared a knowing glance with Celia before answering.
Isn't there anywhere else we can go?
Sue frowned.
What? Why wouldn't we go there?
No reason. Peach, set a course for NSP station.
She lay in the coordinates and made the jump to hyperspace. Glixnarkanog was starting to think there was no treasure. Nothing but sand in all directions. Sand and broken promises. Glixnarkanog didn't like sand. She turned to the sky and shouted at no one in particular.